Hari Om everyone. Let's get into today's shloka, which is Jnana Vijnana Yoga 7.14. Daivī hyeṣhā guṇa-mayī mama māyā duratyayā māmeva ye prapadyante māyām etāṁ taranti te. My divine energy Maya, consisting of the three modes of nature, is very difficult to overcome. But those who surrender unto me cross over it easily. Daivī, divine, he, certainly, eṣhā, this, guṇa-mayī, consisting of the three modes of nature, mama, my, māyā, God's external energy, duratyayā, very difficult to overcome, māyām, onto me, eva, certainly, ye, who, prapadyante, surrender, māyām, etām, this māyā, taranti, cross over, te, de. Over to you, Saravaji.
Yeah, thank you, Shubhaji. Yeah, before we start on the contemplation, today I want to check if we discussed on the title of this section, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, what this section covers. Anyone wants to share? Siyaji, Krishnaji, Ishaji.
As far as I know, this full chapter, he's talking about the conscious, the knowledge which you have to, the consciousness with which we can overcome the, what do you call, the sense organs, action, the mind.
Okay, so Jnana and then Vijnana, both carry different meaning, right?
Oh, Vijnana, I thought Jnana Yoga. I just said
No, it's Jnana Vijnana Yoga.
I don't know. I just went with
Preparing for a material on this on the topics, and then like I started thinking about each title, each section, what what is that conveyed.
I don't know, Saravanan-ji. I think, Vijay-ji, I think, yeah, this is nice. You have to say about first one, we know that Arjuna Vishada Yoga, that he is lost. After that, you didn't explain only.
We have to ask. But, yeah, that's where the other shloka comes, right? Pariprashnena. We have to ask and get it, and it's good. Okay, let's try. Krishna-ji.
I too had similar points. So Jnana is knowledge and knowledge about the truth, and Vijnana is something I don't know like actual meaning, but this is what I'm getting in my mind. Something superior to the knowledge, or being in that practicing that knowledge as a first step, or like primarily practicing the Jnana to be in enlightened state. So that's how I'm seeing that, but
Practicing the Jnana.
still.
How practicing the Jnana? Like, can you give example?
So like there are different ways. Like one is through Jnana, and like through kriyas, through the energies, right? So it's through the knowledge. Like we are uh, in a conscious state, and understanding and how to control, how to actually understanding how the sense objects are, and like how do we interpret through the knowledge, right? So that's how I'm seeing it, than
Yes,
being
sir.
like performing some physical there is a physical when I say it's sense objects, but the major contribution would be towards the Jnana. Any inputs comes through that, right? Through sense organs. See, we basically use our mind more with this knowledge. So this is how I'm seeing it. but still
Okay.
want to.
Okay, yes, one question.
Yeah.
You would have heard Vijnana word outside Gita also, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ganesh.
What is the meaning from the outside outside of Gita? What is the meaning you have for Vijnana? You there? Krishna ji? I think we lost him.
His brain and one.
Yeah, we lost you. Can you repeat
That's
again?
the thing I have, but still perfect answer. So the I heard more relatable with Ganesha, the Lord Ganesha. So he used his knowledge to win the competition, right? So that's something I.
Okay.
Vijnana Ganapati, they say, but still I have not looked into exact meaning as such.
Okay. Siaji, you want to try or?
Jnana is the study of knowledge, and Vijnana is the study of the science behind like our mind and our awareness and the consciousness. That's what I interpreted from this.
Okay, so what is what is the difference these two words are giving? The first one you said science, the knowledge is giving what? That knowledge is giving what? Knowledge,
Knowledge
jnana.
that knowledge like by reading the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita.
So we are in Bhagavad Gita now. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita, this chapter is talking about Jnana and Vijnana. What is the Jnana this Gita chapter is talking about? And what is the Vijnana?
Uh, I only know about Vijnana. I don't know about Jnana.
Okay, so leave the Jnana part. Vijnana is? Can you
Like
repeat again?
the last three shlokas he was studying about the consciousness, awareness of all like the of our surroundings, and that is the study of Vijnana and our
Okay.
intellect.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Subhaji.
Thank you.
Let's see. Subhaji's.
In short, I would say Jnana is the knowledge of the self, and Vijnana is the application of that knowledge which we acquire in our how we apply it in our daily life. That is how I understood Jnana Vijnana Yoga.
Okay. So the whole thing started with the usage of the word yoga in Bhagavad Gita, right? So for a beginner who's not into into the details of Vedanta or Gita, the yoga we know is union or like to oneness, right? The yoga asanas were like uh, uh, we start with the yogasana, right? So that's where it started, right? Then started going into in this part why every chapter itself is named as yoga, right? And Guruji in one of the talks about here in Gita, every chapter gives both the theory and the practicals to apply that knowledge, right? So like in schools, what do? Like, we learn theory first, and then like we also go through the practicals to really see it in action. So here the theory is like Sri Krishna is covering like different aspects, right? If you see in every chapter we are going through different aspects, the theory, and then this, and then like how to how to apply also, that is also being covered. So I would like each of us to see what is the theory and how he is telling to apply, so that like it is complete. It's not like just giving theory and then moving on, because we all know that like theory is knowing, but then like unless one is able to apply it, like it's not complete, right? So here the word is used both for to cover the they call sadhya, the goal. The goal is what he is taking through every chapter, which is to ultimately realize the true nature of the self, and the sadhana, which is how to apply, how to get that apply, reach the goal, right? He is giving both, right? And that is where the yoga thing started. So in Guruji used the word science and technology both. What is the science and like what is the technology to apply that, right? And in this chapter, my understanding of Jnana and Vijnana is, Jnana is the knowledge he is giving of the truth, and Vijnana is the from outside. I know that Vijnana is used for science, as Siaji said, and science of the creation, how to understand this creation. That's how I am interpreting this Jnana and Vijnana, science, and then like Vijnana is like the science of the creation. And this is where like he's saying, right? It's if you see in this chapter, he's talking about Maya, and it's like how it is the consisting of the three modes, which we will go through it in detail. I don't want to start there, but uh, in short, like the way I interpret is both the knowledge and the science behind the creation is what is being discussed in this chapter. I would like to hear from Vijayji.
Yeah. So when we hear the word jnana, what is that comes to our mind? Knowledge.
Knowledge.
So there is so many kinds of knowledge: cooking knowledge, writing knowledge, singing knowledge, so many kinds of knowledge. Even at one level, Bhagavad Gita is a knowledge when it is information. So do you know chapter 2's name? Yeah, I know chapter 2 name, Sankhya Yoga. Do you know Shloka 2.7? Yeah, I know 2.7. So it is a knowledge. What is knowledge? Generally something that we somehow get from some source, and we remember, and we are able to repeat. This is what is knowledge. However, Vijnana, the word Vijnana can also be seen as Vishishta Jnana.
Okay.
The V is Vishishta. So you see that V in many other contexts, especially in spiritual tradition of India. Vijnana, Vishishta Jnana. So it is a special knowledge.
Uh-huh.
So among all the other knowledge, this is special knowledge. What is special? So the speciality is that when it comes to any knowledge, let's talk about mango. If I come and tell you mango is a very wonderful fruit, have you had it? And let's assume you've never had it. Then you say, okay, what is that mango? You sit and explain. Let's say you sit and explain a lot. The other person may or may not truly get it. They get a vague idea. Mango is very sweet. Mango smells nice. Mango looks yellow. Mango grows in trees. Yada, yada, yada. You can give all kinds of information. But that does not lead to a deeper inner understanding which comes from what we call as realization or experience. So there is no experience of mango. Now, let's assume you give a mango to that person and the person eats the mango. Now, the knowledge has become Vishishta. In other words, now they are able to, oh, mango, yeah, I know it, I get it. When you say mango has a very sweet smell, yeah, I know it. So it becomes a very intimate source of understanding, a very intimate knowledge, right? Now it has become, in a way, Vijnana. So now in a similar way, Atma Jnana is at first level is something that I and you may hear, Shravana. But when we deeply contemplate and we look at what is that Sri Krishna is saying and how it is related to me, and as I start realizing that what Sri Krishna has been talking about in the entire Bhagavad Gita is actually about me and how I should live in my life. So it is not unlike singing, cooking, car riding, or about Mount Everest. It's something, I learn for the sake of maybe, say, exam, right? Whereas Bhagavad Gita is about me. And that knowledge at a first level is a knowledge. I hear Atma Jnana, but when I come to realize it's actually me, and when it becomes a deep inner experience, what we refer in Vedanta as aparoksha anubhuti. So the paroksha means seeing through somebody's eyes. Somebody says, you know what, I went there and I saw a mango orchard, so nice. You are now imagining that mango orchard through somebody else's eyes. Paroksha. You may still have a feeling, oh nice, they said it, I know it, because I trust in whatever they're saying. All that is still paroksha, para-aksha, somebody else's eyes. But now imagine you only travel there and you've seen, you've been there. Then you know, this is what it is, right? Now you are no more dependent on somebody else's eyes. Like that, Atma Jnana is a inner recognition of your true self. When that inner recognition has happened, it leads to what we can refer as aparoksha anubhuti. Because knowledge about you, though it may come from outside, but the recognition has to happen within you by you. Who am I is not a matter of some intellectual conversation. Who am I is not a matter of, oh, this is what Bhagavad Gita says, kind of a quotation. It's not a philosophy. It is reality. So when the reality is recognized, it becomes Vijnana, Vishishta Jnana, because this is the highest. So it is very special because this knowledge, or in other words, this recognition and the knowledge that comes out of that recognition frees you up in your life. Because all through the life, the various kinds of suffering is because of who I think I am. So the clarity that emerges from the Atma Jnana helps you to be free in life. So therefore it is Vijnana. And in the 7th chapter, like how Saravanan-ji pointed, Sri Krishna has started talking about more of creation. Because in the fundamental analysis of you and me, there is me, there is world, and there is somebody called God. There are 3 things. So if there has to be total freedom in life, then I need to realize what is the connection between the 3, me, God, and world. Or in other words, I, world, and God. So when that resolution happens, then there is total freedom. So in that way, the first 6 chapters are towards pointing at who you are. The next 6 chapters, starting from 7th, is what we can refer as Brahma Darshana. It's about this entire magnificent creation. So in a way, if you see, Sri Krishna has already started giving us a clear understanding of the essential nature of the entirety, the whole. Brahman means whole. So the entirety. He is giving you and me knowledge of the entire cosmos, the essential nature of the cosmos. And then he resolves all of it together. So Atma Darshana, Brahma Darshana, Satya Darshana. Like that, three major sections.
Okay.
So Vishishta Jnana is about you, fundamentally.
Definitely special. Because
Definitely special.
usual knowledge we learn is like about particular thing, right? Science or math or about software, computer. But this is like everything, covering everything.
Because the one who is learning, we never learn the one who is learning.
Ah,
The one who is seeing, we never discuss about the one who is seeing. The one who is understanding, we never discuss. The one who is suffering, we never catch hold of that fellow. So, therefore, Bhagavad Gita is about you. And in a way, stage by stage, Sri Krishna is peeling off our understanding and giving us the clarity. The first 6 chapters are all about me. Because if you look at the nature of those chapters, maybe in the next session, we can begin with each of the chapter and their meaning analysis.
Yes.
We can begin with that in the next session.
Okay, good. Thanks, Vijayji.
Thanks, Arun.
Actually, this word is borrowed by Tamil. In Tamil, it's for science we call Vijnanam.
That is an aberration. In our language, no, we use Vijnana, but in a way it is correct. Vijnana essentially means Vishishta Jnana. Okay.
Yeah.
So science is loosely translated as Vijnana to Indian languages. The way the science works is purely objective knowledge. So there is subject and there is object. There's an objective knowledge. You're always learning about something. But the subject who is learning that something is not necessarily the focus in the so-called Western science. Yeah. So there is no recognition of the consciousness which is involved in the whole process of learning. Everything is reduced to things, right? That's why there is so much of focus on things. What is the things made up of? What is the matter made up of? What is energy? It is always about out. But the one who is learning, the one who is conscious of this whole thing is not a matter of focus in the so-called science, the Western science. And that concept is loosely translated in Indian languages as Vijnana, which is actually not a complete understanding.
Not complete, okay.
Vijnana should include both the subject and the object. And that is what Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita is. Through Bhagavad Gita, in a way, you are learning the entirety, the essential nature of the entirety. So someone who learns the Bhagavad Gita can very easily pick up so-called science of the external world. Ishaji, you are saying something. You are about to say something.
Yeah, what I was saying. Yeah, I was writing that. No, in this, what was I saying, Vijayji? I forgot. I think I wanted to say here in Bhagavad Gita thing, Krishna is first giving us practicals and only teaching theory out of it. So it's the other way.
Is doing both. You know, if you really look at it, essentially Sri Krishna is helping us to discriminate better. He is developing our viveka. He is developing our viveka to discriminate the nitya from the anitya, what is eternal versus what is changing, the truth from the untruth. So what is always there and what is coming and going. So like that, all through Bhagavad Gita is developing a very fine sense of discrimination, viveka.
So in short, we can say Jnana is acquired knowledge and Vijnana is knowledge through experience.
Yes, when you recognize within you, then it is no more a matter of they said so, therefore it is so.
Yeah.
Now, you know, as a simple example, motherhood now for you is no more a matter of somebody said so.
Yeah.
I will have to quote that book said so about motherhood. You don't have to quote. It is now as a deep inner experience for you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And Vijayji, also in every chapter at the end, we get that thing, right? Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastri. Krishna Arjuna
We can in the next session, we can focus only on the titles and then these two opening and the ending prayers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, yeah, let's now get into this particular verse. Krishna ji, would you like to start?
Yeah. So here in this shloka, Sri Krishna is saying, so this external world is everything is made out of three things, like three gunas, rajas, tamasic, and sattva gunas. So it's quite difficult to overcome, and it's in more of an object, and it's keep on changing. And one who trying to overcome these gunas, it's difficult. Then the better or the right way is to have that knowledge and surrender to him. Surrender, I mean, um, being in that jnana, and instead of fighting and finding the reasoning behind each thing, we are one has to understand and experience this world is keep on changing and depends on these three gunas, and the one which doesn't change and which is always in peace is that consciousness. So one has to be, ultimate thing is to be with that consciousness, so to overcome all this uh, wrong understanding. So being in consciousness in all the state is the thing I understood through this sloka, Sarvaj.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit more about these three gunas? Share your understanding.
Yeah. So tamasic is more of it's not good for oneself as well as for the others and the nature. And rajasic is more of a selfish guna. It's like only benefits them and not the others. It may, most of the time it may harm others or other living creatures or the environment.
Hmm.
Sattvic is the thing. Actually, I had a doubt here. Three gunas. So sattvic also. Sattvic is something one has to perform every action as a yajna and as an offering as a self-service. So what is this sattvic? I didn't get it. I
Okay,
was,
good. So maybe today we should spend some more time on this three gunas.
yeah, I was confused, especially with the sattvic guna, because sattvic guna is something like we are in line with the devatas, uh, like being sacrifice and selfless service. So yeah, so this is my thing, and I want to listen on sattvic.
Okay,
Yeah.
and are you able to see, like, observe yourself in a day, like, uh, um, in which state you are in a day? Are you are you like in which state? Uh,
Mm,
like, is it most of the time, or are you able to see or like look back to see where you were at some time, and why you were in some state, in particular state at that time? That is question number one. Question number two. So looks like from the way you explained, you have classified into good versus bad guna, right? You're saying rajas and tamas are bad and sattva is good. Okay.
mm,
Any
mm,
reason? So in the creation, is there good and bad?
mm, mm.
Can
Something
I
the
say something?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Siaji.
Yeah.
I believe in this strongly, and I don't. I know that there you cannot classify people into good or bad,
Hmm.
because according to everyone, there are different definitions of good and bad. So I think there are miserable people, and then there are happy people.
Okay. And when you say miserable people, like, can you please elaborate?
Miserable people are those who, like, they are not able to, how to say, they're not able to attain happiness, or, like, peace in their life, like their life is full of chaos, and they're not seeing the bigger picture. They're only seeing the short run, they're not seeing the long run. And to do that, they're satisfying their pleasures.
And why do you think they are like that? Any reason you are able to observe?
It's because, like nowadays, like how like technology has made a huge, like, how to say it, it's become a huge part of teenagers' lives. And you can see that most of them, they're depressed, and many of them are committing suicide. Even like in India, you would think that, like, because of India, they have huge family support, right? So you would think that, they're doing well, like they are, happy with how life is going. But you, like, every year there's about like 18,000 people committing suicide.
Oh,
And also, like, this the social media, it plays a very huge role in teenagers' lives nowadays. And they believe whatever they see, and because of what they're believing, the, how to say, the ideal standards of how they're supposed to be, it is clashing with their standard of living. And because of that, they're going into a spiral of depression. And
okay.
many of them, they come from, how to say, abused homes, or like they either use substances, or they have gone through trauma. So all these factors, they add up and, make a person miserable. But there are also ways of getting out of that miserable, you know
De-
feeling.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. Mm. So you were trying to explain on the good and bad. You were saying uh, there's not bad, but rather there are people who are troubled due to various reasons.
Yeah, and it can apply to this shloka as well, because
How is that?
those pe it can apply to this because, people who have, how to say, they have the spiritual self in them, like they are able to see things better, and, how to, like, in a way that other people can't see. Like, uh,
Mm,
how you usually walk down the road. You
mm.
usually, many people, I don't know who observes what, but I'm just going to talk in my perspective.
Yeah, sure.
I would, when I'm walking down the road, I would observe the trees and the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I, on my way to the coaching center, there's a temple, so I observed, like, the stones, the art of the stones and all that. So when you see, like, the bigger picture, like, why am I here, you question yourself that why am I here on this planet, you start to see things very differently. And then you start to see that God is the reason of this creation. And if we, how to say, start devoting our time to him, then things will be much better in our lives. Like, how is not much better, like, things will be very different, so we'll view the world differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Kishaji, thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Very good. Very nice. Ishaji?
Yes, Sarananji. See, my understanding of three gunas from Krishna ji's, just taking up from there. See, we have three gunas. We have ignorance, passion, and goodness. So these are the three gunas which as a human we possess. So ignorance, when we say, it's like doing the wrong things the wrong way for the wrong reason, everything about ignorance. The passion is, yeah, we do the right things, we did take the right path, but the reason for doing it is not the right reason. And when you say goodness, it's always doing the right things the right way, and the reason is also good. So mostly, as you were asking the example, so in case we say about ignorance, it's like, ignorance is something like everybody. Like, for example, you want to be rich, but you are only dreaming of being rich. You're dreaming of being successful. Or for instance, if I want to be a pilot, I just keep thinking how nice it is to be a pilot. Neither I have an education nor I put in any effort, and nothing to do. It's just like I think, okay, it's nice to be like this. But passion is like I have a willpower, and my work is result oriented. I expect the results in my favor. So I'm a very self-obsessed person who wants everything in my way. Like, I do something, I need something out of it. And goodness is, it's different. You let your results, as we discussed in previous shloka, the work is ours, the result is not in our hand. So accepting and doing the actions in a very right way without bothering about what the outcome is, which will become tougher because, it's not motivating when the results don't as per our wish. It may not be motivating, but yeah, it is something which is very difficult. But when we go through that, that is why it's referred to as goodness, the mode of goodness. So the level of ignorance is like, it's nothing to do with the bad and good. This is what I heard from my other classes. It's like, humans, we are given the sense. In the shloka also, we have given the sense organ. Imagine we are given 5 sense organs. How do we control that? So in case the sense organ, for example, are horses. So we have 5 horses, and the chariot is something is our mind. Okay, so the way we control it, we can go in certain directions. Otherwise, it will all go flying everywhere. And when it goes flying, it will be an ignorant mode because it's just like animals, it is working just with nature without any consciousness or knowledge. So human life, when we can acquire certain level of consciousness and Vijnana, let acquired special knowledges, we can use it to control these gunas or senses. So end of the day, we have to accept we don't have control on anything. Krishna is the main controller, but the only thing we can control here is our senses to do the right thing.
How are you relating senses to guna? Can you please
See, in case we say goodness, how do I say? See, now when it says
no, is my question correct? Like you are trying to relate.
No, goodness is different. It is like, in case you have, see, if you are going to do goodness, if you falling into, I don't know the, what's the other term? I really don't know the 3 terms which we use in Sanskrit. I'll get.
Sattva, Rajas, Tamo?
Yeah, that only. So I misplace it and put it here, and then I don't use it. So in case we are talking about the goodness part of it, it's like, you have to control your senses as well. So we had that, I don't know, one picture was shared with all the sense and extra pictures with gunas in previous 2 classes. So how it connects.
Okay.
So it is correlated, but I'm not able to put it in actual words actually, if I can find it.
Okay. And what is he and how is this Maya? Can you talk about what he's talking about Maya here?
The Maya, it's like simple. It's an illusion which we are given that we are controlling everything. See, now anything, even when we set an alarm and go to sleep, we are in an illusion that we'll wake up. So we feel that we have a control over things. We have control over time. We have control on our health, or we have control over our mortality. We have that thing in us that we are in control.
The wrong knowledge, can I say?
Yeah, wrong knowledge. So there are things which
But
which
if you see the way he is introduced, he's saying my divine energy Maya. I guess it cannot be just wrong knowledge. It has to be something very big, because he's saying it's divine energy.
yeah. See, it all depends on how you see it, no? If you want to see the divine power only, as we always said that, avatar also, only if you have the divine special knowledge in you, you can see the avatar as, he is Krishna. Otherwise, like, we'll be like Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra, where we are blind. This divine, it's a Maya created for you. Even Arjuna is put in Maya. Right? As soon as he went inside, he's put in a Maya saying, these are your relatives. How can he literally puts him there? Though a knowledgeable person, he puts, and he knows Krishna is supreme power. Still, Arjuna is in that Maya and asking so many questions which we are all getting answers to. But yeah, that I feel that's what he says. It's like we always think, Maya is something which is very materialistically only we are seeing.
Okay. Maybe yeah. Thank you, Vishal. Since we have 20 minutes, Vijay, can we directly go with your explanation? Because
please,
looks like
you
to
and
cover a lot.
Shubhaji also please discuss, and if need be, we can continue in the next session. It's okay.
Yeah,
Let each one express.
Okay. Yeah, the I think three gunas itself, I feel like we have to discuss more to get the right knowledge. And Maya Shakti also we should discuss more. Okay, let's try. Okay, Shubhaji.
Yeah, here Sri Krishna is saying Maya is nothing but illusion, but he is saying my divine energy Maya, which is like what Sri Krishna is saying is Maya is just an extension of me. So when there is Maya all around us, we cannot do anything on our own. So we need the grace of Sri Krishna. Only then we can overcome all our difficulties. So he's literally saying, you surrender on to me, then you can overcome this Maya. So the three modes of nature, which is the Sattva Guna, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamoguna. When we look at Sattvic, we can relate it to the character of Vibhishana. And when it is Tamasic, it is Kumbhakarna, and Rajasic, which is Ravana. Ravana is full of energy and he is always like, I'm there to fight. And Kumbhakarna is more like a lazy person. And Vibhishana is a very sattvic person who is very spiritual and he surrenders to Sri Rama. So that is how we relate the three modes of nature of these qualities with the characters and how it is being projected on each character's qualities. So that is how I relate the shloka, Saravaji.
Okay. Sure, thank you, Shubhaji. Yeah, so the way I interpret this is when here Krishna is talking about so now as we discussed, right, there are three things we see: me, and then there is God, and then there is the world, right? These are the three things. Basically, we can put everything under these three, right? I am separate, God is there somewhere, and then there is this world outside me. Whatever, everything that outside me is the world. Now, here the point is, how are we trying to connect these three, right? This world, when we are trying to explain, here is saying the world is itself nothing but it's the manifestation of the Supreme itself through the divine energy Maya Shakti, that what we see. And again, what I see itself is a lot more deep to explain, because I need to put the boundary of where I and like what is in the world, because in the world includes even this body of Saravanan. Okay, so anything outside the consciousness, right? My awareness is all part of the world. Even this body is part of the world, right? And the whole world, the way and the what is the nature of this world? It appears and disappears, right? Nothing is, you cannot hold on to anything. The nature itself is changing all the time. The body is also changing all the time. Whatever we see around us, it's changing all the time. That how is the whole thing being orchestrated? How is it being run? That's the Maya Shakti of the Supreme. Right now, I can explain you about how this whole thing is working, right? Because for the way the world is operating, the way it's explained is like through these three modes, through three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamo, and each guna has its own uh, characteristics which is needed for the whole functioning, right? And uh, without going into the details there, so I can explain you, but can you, with that explanation, can you master it? Can you master the world? Can I say that, you know what? Oh, okay, I understand how this world operates. Now I can manage it. Can I say that? That's why I'm saying no. Because it is so powerful. Only one who is able to surrender is basically able to go beyond, see beyond this world, which is what gives the suffering, right, at the end. Because whatever we do, either one likes it, or like one doesn't like it, right? And everything falls under that, right? Now, can I um only have what I like? Can I avoid everything not liking? Impossible, right? And which means basically one needs to know the science behind the whole thing, right? And for that, you need to see beyond what you are seeing. I mean, it's basically like, uh, what I see is through the senses, right? What I operate is through the senses, but there is something beyond these senses. The senses have their own limitations, right? And e- with this limiting senses, I definitely will not be able to solve. I will not be able uh, to master it, right? So that is where the surrender comes. How do I go beyond the senses? And like, who is operating with the senses? Mind, right? And that means basically, how can I go beyond mind? Because all the thing that I do is through the mind. And even all the things that happen, though actually the changes happen, it's the mind which interprets the change, and then the mind is the one which gives a running commentary all the time. And with that running commentary, the mind is creating the world for me all the time. Oh, I know what, I feel good in this session. Okay, you know what, the moment I go out, I have to do this, I need to do this. Oh, that person is calling, right? So the mind is giving commentary all the time, and mind is basically building this world, jagat, right? So to be able to cross this world, which is the source of finally, uh, the ro- uh, the wrong knowledge uh, leads to samsara, right? Suffering. One needs to see beyond, go beyond the mind, see beyond the senses, and that comes through surrender to the Ishvara, to the Supreme. And what is that surrender to me? It's like, uh, I have to go beyond the thoughts, which is like, the thoughts are there, as long as I exist, the thoughts are there around, right? And like, how do I go beyond these thoughts? Which is where, like, and one example and that is also, Ishvara has given us to experience every day, which is in the deep sleep, which is like complete bliss, right? Where there is no body awareness, there is no mind awareness, right? And basically, it is, uh, uh, without our conscious, or how do I say, that experience happens, is given to us, or it happens without attempting. But then like it comes through that sleep, right? And the whole teaching is about like how do you realize that your original state at all the times, not only in the sleep, right? Not only in the meditation. Meditation is another example where one is able to get away from the senses by like closing ears and eyes, right? One is able to go beyond, and then like in the deep state, samadhi is able to experience. But how it not just the sleep, not just the samadhi state. How can I be in my original state all the time? That is the knowledge being given finally, right? So that is how I would put this shloka, Vijayji.
Thank you very much, Saranji. Is it okay for everyone if the session spills over by 10-15 minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Krishnaji, Shubhaji.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So again, first let's recollect quickly in this chapter what Shri Krishna has taught us so far. Of course, we have picked only certain shlokas, right? So in the 7.4, he essentially taught the nature of the world, meaning what? What the world is constituted of. What you and I refer as things, various things, tree, forest, water, body, so many things are there. What all of this is made up of. In one sense, whatever you and I experience is experienced because of these 8 things. And that Sri Krishna called as my lower energies. So that is what Sri Krishna referred. He referred it as my own material energy or my own lower energy. Why lower? Because it is constantly changing. So whatever is made up of these 8 is constantly changing. So we learned that by looking at some simple explanation where essentially whatever you and I are experiencing are these 5 aspects of the existence which we feel through the 5 senses that we have and the 3 inner senses that we have. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara. So 5 plus 3. And these 8 is what anything is made up of. When you and I say something, it is nothing but a combination of these 8 things, right? So this much we saw in the first shloka. Then we went into see what Krishna referred as beyond these 8, my unchanging nature, a superior energy. And that superior energy is the awareness, which brings the quality of knowing. So when you and I say, oh, I know something, how do you know something? Through the 5 senses, the signal comes. Through the mana, buddhi, ahankara, interpretation is happening. But what is powering all of that? Without which, none of these senses and the mind would work. That is awareness. And Krishna referred to that as the highest. Why highest? Because it is not changing. In you, the awareness is never changing. And that is how you are able to detect all the changes. Changes including whatever that is happening to your own body and mind. That is how you are able to say, yesterday I was feeling sad. Today I am feeling happy. Yesterday I had pain. Today I no more have pain. Or any other story of your life. Whatever the story of your life, you are able to narrate only because there is something that is unchanging. Otherwise, you won't be able to narrate any of this story. Correct? So, what is that within you which is unchanging? And that also we learned through this examination that it is nothing but your own awareness. And awareness here we are using in 2 distinct ways. We typically say, are you aware of something? as if awareness is some kind of a aspect, right? Just like how we say, oh, is the salt in this food is enough? So salt is something and the food is something and the salt is mixed with the food. Is the salt enough? Like that, we use awareness as a certain quality. But awareness is a name given to you. Arivu is a name by which you are being referred. Atma Jyoti is a name by which you are being referred. Atman is a name by which you are being referred. Why? Your essential nature is awareness. Your essential nature, your unchanging nature is awareness. That is why you are being referred as awareness. But if you really examine what Sri Krishna has said in these two shlokas, that essential awareness is who you are. Krishna is within you as that awareness. And Krishna is saying that everything else is my 8 material energies, which also means that those must also be within Krishna only. So, in a way, these 8 which are constantly changing and this one which is unchanging. This is how the whole thing is working. This is what we saw in these two shlokas. And in the last shloka, Krishna further deepens that understanding by saying that matta parataram nanyat. So just like how a thread binds all these beads together, all these things are woven around the thread, and I am the thread. And in our last session, we saw I am is that deep inner recognition that you naturally have. So that I am is the basis on which all your life experiences, whatever story you are able to tell, you are able to tell only because I am is there. So today we interpreted something as good, something as bad, something is why the society is like that. All those various things. So maybe in when so Siaji is younger among us. When we were growing up, there was no social media. So some of the effects of the social media wasn't there. Why? Because social media was not relevant at that point in time. It was not even existing. But it has come into existence sometime in this generation, right? So like that, the aspect of the world is something that changes from time to time. And if you go from one place to another place, so as a simple example, so some of the things that Siaji mentioned could be the problems in a mainstream, let's say, city, or maybe second-tier city in India. But if you go to a deeper village, even today, these social media effects may not be there. The world may be totally different there. Or if you go to a certain remote place where there is no internet, it is said that, in some of the Andaman Nicobar, there are still a lot of aboriginal sects, and you cannot even visit some of those islands. So how they might be. So like that, their outlook of the world would be much different from you and I. Whatever it may be, you and I can keep discussing about this world in many different ways, but Sri Krishna has helped you and me to boil it down all to these 8 aspects. See, these 8 aspects is what you and I refer as the world. That's the essential understanding. We are not here debating about whether something is happening or not happening. We are not debating about whether social media is having a good effect or a negative effect. That is a separate topic. But what Krishna has helped you and me to recognize? Look, Arjuna, whatever you discuss about as the world, it is essentially these 8 aspects apart. These 8 aspects are my material, are lower energy, my apara shakti. Why? Because they're constantly changing. You go to Andaman Nicobar Island, you will see a different world. You go to a village, you see a different world. You go to a marketplace, you see a different world. You spend a day with maybe your grandparents, you see a different world. You go and spend a day with people in the Vruddhashrama, you see a different world. So there are millions of different worlds. there is no single world out there, because each one looks at that world in totally different perspective, right? A child's world is different from a teenager's world. A dog's world is different from a human's world. So like that, there are so many different worlds. So Krishna has helped you and me to recognize the essential aspect of all these worlds. He's not discussing about a particular world. He's not saying this is how the human's world is, this is how a teenager's world is. He's saying what the world is constituted of. What you and I refer as the world. World is nothing but these 8 aspects, Arjuna. Recognize that. So in a way, he has helped you and me to recognize the fundamental aspects of what is world. Just like how, what is fundamental aspects of food? The 6 tastes. Fundamental aspects of music, the 7 notes or the 7 swaras. Fundamental aspects of any novel, English novel, the 26 English alphabets. Fundamental aspects, right? So like that, he has helped you and me to recognize the fundamental aspects of the world. These 8. And something far more fundamental, the 9th. And that he has put together in the last shloka. So he's saying, look, whatever you're experiencing are like the beads, and I am the thread. You are the thread. You as the awareness is the thread on which all your life experiences are woven. So that he has helped you and me to recognize in the last shloka. So today's shloka is taking us even further. He's essentially saying, look, whatever that you are experiencing as the world is my own divine energy only. He's now giving us another viewpoint about the world. He said, world is made up of these 8 things. But now he's talking about the same world in a slightly different viewpoint, which is, he's saying, my divine energy, Maya, and combined with the 3 modes, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Guna, creates all the grand illusion, what you and I call as life. And it is extremely difficult to overcome. He's also cautioning us. Why it is difficult? There is a wonderful story. It's a fish, a young fish, swam to its grandfather and said, Grandpa, everybody says ocean is huge. Grandpa says, yes, ocean is really huge. Grandpa, I want to see the ocean. Grandpa says, you are in the ocean. That fish swims to its friend and says, my grandpa is gone bonkers. He doesn't know what ocean is. Everybody is talking about the ocean. And he's talking about his dreams. One day I want to go and find the ocean. I want to swim in the ocean. So that's the story of Maya. Because the fish is very much in the center of the ocean. He's in the ocean. So extremely difficult to go above and see. But the grandfather somehow has realized it in that story, right? So like that, Sri Krishna is saying, look, if you know what I am speaking, that is the jnana that I'm giving you, and if you have total faith and dedication and bhakti towards me, then that is what surrender is. Surrender means jnana and bhakti. Then you can cross it over easily. That's what he's saying. So let's do a little, simple experiments, okay? Some of you might have seen these little slides that I'm going to show. So those who have seen can let the others answer, right? So some illusions, some simple illusion. So Siyaji, Krishnaji, Ishaji, you can answer. Or those who have not seen can also answer. Which side is darker? Side A or side B?
Side A.
Side A seems darker, right? So any other answer? Krishnaji, for you?
For me, side
B is darker because of the black background.
I'm not expecting explanation. Which is darker?
B.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Exactly, were you saying something?
B only. I
B.
said
Okay, all right, excellent. So now we have two parties, party A and party B. Party B seems to have a little more majority. But CRG, don't be worried. Be assured. Both A and B are same.
yeah.
So now, this is a simple illusion. Just because there is a darker background, see, just because there is a darker background, it is appearing darker. So this is a very simple trick. Now, who played the trick? Who played the trick on you?
You only.
No. I didn't play the trick. Your eyes and your mind played the trick.
Yeah.
Because you saw it, you interpreted it. I was only asking questions. I didn't prompt A is darker or B is darker. I simply asked, which is darker? So, just like this is the grand illusion that you and I are in. Because we tend to believe whatever that comes through our senses. Our senses are creating grand illusion all the time. Just like how it created this illusion. So you think, whatever you're hearing is correct. It is another illusion. So there is a wonderful little experiment. I can do that experiment also, but let's continue this visual experiment. It is easier to connect. That hearing experiment will also illustrate the point very nicely. I'm tempted to do it. So please give me a moment because it illustrates what we are learning very easily.
Tell me.
Okay, so simply notice this video, okay, and then after that you can also answer.
What you hear the sentence as being. Okay.
That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
Are you able to understand anything? Are you able to hear any particular words?
Some people shouting.
Some people shouting. Right? Okay, all right. Now pay attention.
That's what I got too. So, are you sure you don't hear rotating pirate ships?
That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
Are you able to hear rotating pirate ships?
Yes.
Wait.
Or do you hear, that isn't my receipt?
That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
This is the power of suggestion.
Just maybe you're hearing Bart Simpson bouncing.
That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
And then,
That is embarrassing.
and then the lobsters in motion.
Surely not.
That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
Man, just out of a casual chat's chant, eh?
Wow.
Okay. You heard. So you rely on your ears, right? You think your ears are giving you the right sound. The way you are interpreting, your ears, the signal is coming, how you are interpreting. So this is the illusion, right? So now there is also movie. Many of you watch the movie, but movie is actually a trick. So let's just watch this short video. Then, we'll be able to understand it better.
More than 70 million people in the United States go to the movies each week to get away from their cares and to find entertainment, romance, and thrills on the magic screen. But only a few understand how the lights and shadows on the screen are controlled to make us see a motion picture. Motion pictures are based on an optical illusion. Just another case where seeing is believing. To understand how we see, let's turn the tables on the human eye and look at it instead of through it. The light reflected by any object we look at passes through the lens of the eye and is focused upside down on the sensitive surface called the retina. This retina passes the impression on to the optic nerve, which sends it to the brain, and we see it right side up. The reflection will stay on the retina as long as the object is in view. When we look away or take the object away, the images disappear. But notice that the image in the brain does not disappear immediately. It fades a fraction of a second after the object is removed. This slow fading is called persistence of vision. When we look at a moving object, we really see it in two places at once, where it is and where it was a fraction of a second before. Let's get out into a rainstorm for a good example. The water you seem to see falling in streams is really a lot of separate drops. Persistence of vision makes you see each raindrop in several places, over a distance of several inches. Let's look at a picture of a car and a picture of a moving landscape to show how the eye can make them seem to overlap. Let's run them on the screen, one after the other. We look at them for 2 seconds each, then for 1 second each. Now, faster and faster until we see the two pictures as if they were both one picture, another optical illusion. If your eyes didn't trick you into seeing the moving particles of fireworks as continuous streaks, you would see only sparks instead of streams of light. Persistence of vision is the principle which makes movies possible. A motion picture is really only a fast series of still photographs that overlap in your mind. Tracings of two of these still photographs, placed one on top of the other, show that each of the two photographs has caught the press in a slightly different position. Here is the way the first photograph looks. This is the way the second photograph looks. Now let's take the complete series in rapid succession. Faster. Persistence of vision makes us see two pictures at once. As a result, there is an appearance of motion. So motion pictures are just still pictures joined together on a long strip of film. The more still pictures we get while the action is going on, the smoother it looks. If we want to slow down the motion of something that goes fast, we speed up our camera and make, say, 5 times as many pictures per second. We have slow motion when they are shown on the screen at normal camera speed. Now, here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs. Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Now we'll build a projection machine to show the pictures on a screen. The film unwinds from the reel and rewinds onto another reel after it runs through the projector. To throw the picture on the screen, there is a bright light with a reflector behind it to send the light rays in the right direction and a lens to concentrate the light. The film passes a hole or aperture which lets the light go through only one picture at a time. There is another lens to focus the pictures on the screen. By adjusting the lenses, the picture can be made sharp and clear. Let's start the machine moving. The still pictures blur because they're moving all the time. And this won't do it all. We need something to hold each picture still long enough for us to look at it in between the changes. When the film is started and stopped in rapid succession, the eye sees the changes being made, and the result is streaks instead of movies. So we need a shutter to cut off the light while every change of picture is being made, and let light through only while the film is standing still. Surprising as it seems, you never see a motion picture while it is actually moving. The only time a movie moves is when the shutter keeps you from seeing the change of picture. Then we see it just the way it looks in real life. Now we have the important parts of a projector for showing motion pictures on the screen. But let's change that drawing to an actual machine at work. This reel holds the supply of motion picture film, which passes through the projector at a speed of 90 feet each minute. Slots on this aperture plate guide the film past the narrow beam of light so that only one picture can be seen at a time. The adjustable lens, which gives us a clear, sharp picture on the screen, is placed in the path of the light rays after they pass through the film. Sprockets, which guide the film as well as start it and stop it, are placed in position to hold the film in proper position at all times. The shutter is placed behind the film to cut off the light at intervals while the pictures change. And now, when you see motion pictures, you get a true picture of what really happens. A picture that you could never see in any other way.
So, just like this, your mind is tricking you in terms of whatever you are seeing, hearing, and all the five senses. Because at the end of the day, the world comes into you, pours into you through your five senses. So all these kinds of magic is happening. So what are some of the key lessons that we can learn from whatever the video that we just now saw or the audio that we just now heard? So especially in that audio, the experience was very stark. In the beginning, none of us could really make out what was there. But as he prompted one different phrase, we heard it. It felt like, oh, it was true. I heard it. Next, I heard it. So this is the beauty. We believe what we are hearing, what we are seeing, what we are smelling is true. That is the fundamental catch. Belief. Belief is a fundamental catch. I believe I heard it. Did I really hear it? So what appears is not necessarily real. There seems to be a motion happening on the screen. It is not necessarily real. Because our mind and our senses are essentially creating a picture for you. They're filling in the gaps. It may not be there. That is why, for example, even among vague dots, people can recognize people. As more and more experiments are happening in how we can make the machines detect, especially when it comes to detecting pictures, right? There's a beautiful experiment. What you and I simply would call as a lot of dots, and with slight features that are available, which kind of indicate like a person. People tend to grasp it like that. So you and I, our brain are tuned to grasp human forms, but it may not really be there. So in a way, our mind, based on whatever it has gathered, can overlap on the information that is or the signal that is coming in through our senses. And then at the end of it, it all appears to be very real. So how is whatever you are seeing any different from whatever you saw in this movie example? Just like how in the movie, series of snapshots is what is appearing as a movie. Same thing is happening. So what you call as your life, your yesterday's snap and today's snap, you're comparing and you're telling a story. I did that day and I'm doing this day today. That happened that day. So somewhere some snap and somewhere some snap. You're putting these two together and you're running a reel. And that is what you and I are telling as a story of our life. But is it really there now? Whatever that happened, is it really there? It is not there. Whatever that is going to come.
The one who is doing is the mind with the memory. It has all
with the memory as operators. So constantly we are involved in the movie of the mind. And the movie of the mind is what Sri Krishna is referring as māyā. The word māyā means yama sa māyā. That which is not really there but appears to be there. There is no movie in terms of motion, but it appears to be moving. Your yesterday is no more there, but it appears to be there. Your tomorrow hasn't it happened. It appears to come. And mind is oscillating between yesterday and tomorrow. Yama sa māyā. Mirage. It is not there. Just like how, when you are going in a hot summer day on the road, you see water vapors. Or in desert, you see water. Right? Or how your mind made up the movie here. Or our minds made up the sounds that we heard. We are making up. That grand illusion is happening here. This grand illusion is the māyā. It is not there, but it appears to be there. It happened yesterday. She came and scolded me. Now it is simply a memory snap here. And how I feel about it is another memory snap. So constantly we are living in the world of memory. We are living in a world of memory. And essentially Krishna is saying, look, life is not what is happening in your memory. Because what is happening in your memory is simply an illusion. Become aware. Who is the one who is watching this movie? You, the one who is seeing the movie, you are not the movie. You are not the role in the movie. You are above and beyond the movie. But what is the illusion? How now the grand illusion is created? There seems to be a world and there seems to be our five senses. And through our qualities in the mind, we now interpret the world. The three qualities, the tamo, rajo and sattva, are like the three glasses. What we are wearing to interpret the world. And through the glass that you and I are wearing, we are forgetting our true nature. That I am the one in whose presence all of this is happening. I am that awareness. I'm caught up in the māyā. I'm so involved in the movie. And the movie is because of all these layers of transformation that is happening. Māyā. All of this put together is the māyā. Something that seems to be constantly moving is māyā. Because you cannot catch on to it. You cannot hold on to it. Something that you cannot hold on to it. Marichike. In Ramayana, it is shown as the golden deer. The golden deer. And Sita got so involved in that golden deer. Who is Sita? Your own mind. What is she involved with? The māyā, the golden deer. Then who comes and catches Sita? Ravana. Ravana is the ego. Ravana comes and catches. And that is why Rama had to come to Lanka, because that is where Ravana captures and keeps the mind. Ego has captivated the mind, and he keeps in the Ashokavana. And all the Rakshasas are troubling, all the troubles of life, grief, sadness, worry, tension, Rakshasas. So Rama comes with Hanuma. So Hanuma is your own breath. Rama is your own divine consciousness. And when you are aware of that, then you can kill Ravana. Meaning what? You can rise above that. You can realize that I am not the ego. I am not the body. I am not the mind. And that requires true surrender. Who has to surrender? Whoever I think I am, that ego. You know who I am? That has to surrender. Surrender means what? Surrender means realize that ego is simply a reflection, is simply an illusion. There is no real me as an ego. The characters that I'm playing are not real. They're not permanent. They're the coming and going aspect. Just like how the movie is essentially because of the light. It's the light that is the permanent feature. Everything else is coming and going. The film, whatever is captured in the film is like my mind. And that is what is playing out. But the light is the one which makes the film to appear. Without light, there is no movie. Just like that, without awareness, that is without you, that as awareness, there is nothing else. And Shri Krishna is saying, you can become free from this illusion if you surrender to my Jnana. What is Shri Krishna's Jnana? Just like how he has been teaching us. And how Jnana is, you can cultivate Jnana. You ask questions. Pariprashnena. You wonder, you research, you verify, you confirm. Is this how it is? Then you arrive at, this is how it is, right knowledge. Then bhakti. What is bhakti? It begins from trust, just like how you had a unquestionable faith, trust in your mother. Whatever your mother gave as a little child, you simply took it. Just like that, this entire life is operated by the Divine Mother. So trust in that universal energy. Surrender to the Divine through the path shown by the Sadguru and develop the right faith. Not a belief, but a faith born out of mixture of Jnana and Bhakti. That alone can free you and me from the illusion that you and I are trapped in. And that is what Shri Krishna is teaching. Mama māyā duratyayā. But māmeva prapadyante. Those who surrender to me, māyām etāṁ taranti, they will be able to cross over. Hari Om. Any question or any other statements? Good.
No,
eṣhā ji, you're saying something? You're not audible, eṣhā ji.
Yes.
I said no questions.
All right. Then shall we end?
Yeah. Good.
Hari Om.